Aloha, my name is Jake Shimabukuro, and I'm an ukulele player from Honolulu, Hawaii. Happy to be here in Hong Kong. Yeah, growing up in Hawaii, especially kids, a lot of children grow up playing the ukulele. We learn how to play it in school, and I've always had a passion for it, and I kept playing. A lot of my friends started out playing the ukulele, but later they would move on to the guitar. But in Hawaii, the ukulele is it's a very respected instrument, and so I think I've always had a passion, to play it and to study the instrument. Yeah. I love all different styles of music, and so I started out playing a lot of, traditional Hawaiian music. And I guess as I got older, I fell in love with, rock and roll and pop music and some jazz and some classical. And I realized that I just loved all styles of music, so the ukulele was the only instrument that I could play, so I would try to figure out ways to play certain melodies that I heard on the radio and try to play it on the ukulele. So even if it was like a melody played on the piano or a melody played on the guitar, I would try to find it on the ukulele, and that's what kind of led me to to the way that I play today. Concept as to like the songs that I choose to play at a concert. Most of the time they're just songs that like if I'm covering a song, it's because I'm a big fan of that artist or that composer. Sometimes I'll just or sometimes I just like playing certain songs because they're fun and there's a certain energy that comes with that tune, or maybe a special memory that I've had in the past playing a particular song. So I guess there's really, there are many reasons, but I don't really put a lot of thought into. I don't overthink it. I just try to play what feels natural to me. Yeah, it's always a struggle. It's very challenging because the ukulele has only 2 octaves and 4 strings. So there are a lot of challenges, because other instruments have a far superior range to the ukulele. But to me, it makes playing the instrument a lot easier and simpler. So that's why I enjoy it, because I think that that for a lot of people, it's an instrument that's easy to learn, and you don't have to develop a lot of skills to play it. You could learn to play a song in 2 minutes on the ukulele, and with a lot of other instruments, it's not that easy to get started. For example, if you play the trumpet, or if you play the cello or the violin, or even the guitar, it takes time before you can play something that is fun or inspiring. But the ukulele, I think, in the first minute you can already learn a chord and you can be singing songs, and it makes it so much more enjoyable right away. I've done workshops and I've worked with people who have never played an instrument before, and in 2 minutes I have them playing a song already, and they're just so happy. They're so excited that they can play a song, they can play an instrument. Yeah, so I like to experiment with a lot of different sounds. For the most part, my passion is keeping the natural sound of the instrument, the acoustic sound of the ukulele. But for certain songs, I like to experiment and use effects. Use things like a volume pedal, using like maybe a distortion pedal or an amp modeler that'll mimic characteristics of different guitar amplifiers. So those things are very interesting to me. But you have to be very careful not to overuse them. I think they are all great tools, and they can help to add color, to your arrangements and to your song and to your concert. So I enjoy using those things. Yeah, playing rock and roll tunes on the ukulele is very hard because the ukulele is not accepted as a rock and roll instrument. So when you try to cover a rock tune on the ukulele, it's it's almost comical, right? It's not, like, of course you can recognize it, if you play it, but it's very difficult to get past the fact that you're playing it on an ukulele and just have the audience just listen, just listen to the music. Yeah, it's very difficult, and that's always been a challenge, for me, is really trying to capture the energy and the spirit of like a rock song on the ukulele. So yeah, it's very challenging, and it's something that I struggle with all the time, and something that I really try to work hard, to get through. Performing solo is really hard. It's scary because you're the only one there on stage, and it's very intimidating, being on stage by yourself and playing in front of an audience. So it's but when you have a good show and everything goes well, it's very rewarding at the same time. The nice thing about playing solo is that you can be a lot more spontaneous, I think. If you have a band, you have to make sure that you communicate your ideas a little bit ahead of time. It depends on who your band members are and how well you know each other. Sometimes you're able to just read each other and you can just play as one person. And those types of musicians, musicians that have that kind of relationship, is very rare. So, but for me, this year I have a friend of mine that's joining me on a few songs. His name is Dean Taba, and he's a great bass player. And we've been playing together for a long time. And the nice thing about playing with Dean is that we've known each other for so long, and we've played with each other for so long. And so a lot of times we can be spontaneous. We can just sometimes we don't even have to look at each other, and we just kind of know where the other person's gonna go and when you want to change. And you can do all kinds of different things that are unplanned. And in jazz, it's very similar to that kind of feeling and that type of approach. So I guess for me, I have a lot of different influences, and it's always fun though. It's something that I enjoy. I love being on stage. I love performing, and I love the challenges that come with performance, live performance. Oh yeah. So I'm very excited, because I feel like this is just the starting point, the tip of the iceberg for the ukulele. I think that it's going to continue to grow, and I think more and more people are going to take the instrument and do amazing things with it. They're going to be in the same way that we have certain artists or musicians that represent a specific genre in guitar or in piano. If you think of the guitar, for example, the guitar started out as a folk instrument. It was an instrument where you would just kind of strum and you would sing, back in long time ago when the instrument was kind of just invented. But over the years, there have been iconic or key players that have picked up the instrument and have transformed the image of the instrument. For example, like Andreas Segovia, he really made the guitar a classical instrument. Then you have like people like Wes Montgomery or Pat Metheny, who have really taken the guitar and made it a jazz instrument. You have people like Eddie Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix, who kind of made, brought this other sound to the instrument, and so I think, or Les Paul, I should mention Les Paul. He was a very key figure in the evolution of the guitar. I think in the future, there are going to be musicians that play the ukulele, and I think there's going to be someday the Muddy Waters of the ukulele, or the Yo-Yo Ma of the ukulele, or the Miles Davis of the ukulele. So I'm very excited to see what the future of the ukulele will be, and I'm just a big fan of the ukulele. So just seeing it grow in popularity and just seeing how the instrument is spreading all over the world is very exciting. Aloha. My name is Jake Shimabukuro, and you're watching musicinmusic.com.
Dean Tava.